Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this video I'm going to be talking a bit about precious metals, gold, silver, and also about Bitcoin. What is it that you should know about these, which are the pros and cons about each one, and some more information that you'll probably find useful. Before I go on, keep in mind that I will leave a couple links below, especially in terms of Bitcoin. I'll leave the link to my Coinbase affiliate link, which will give you, if you buy $100 of Bitcoin, it gives you $110 worth of Bitcoin, and it gives me a $10 commission as well in Bitcoin too, which is hugely appreciated. But just keep that in mind. Now, typically preppers will focus mostly on silver. There are several good reasons to go with that. Typically for preppers, it's going to be junk silver that they favor. Usually you find them agreeing that this is maybe one of the closest types of silver to be very close to spot. It's also like broken down like in change, you know. Thinking about a post-economic collapse economy in which you are buying a chicken, well, egg or whatever with a few coins of silver. That is all, in theory, it's all very good and fine. The thing is, for its practical aspect, it's not always all that much. So these are all good options. Junk silver is an excellent option. Junk silver coins, US coins made before 1965 are 90% silver, as most of you already know. Another great idea is going with silver eagles. And silver eagles are actually a great way to go with as well, because it is a very well recognized form of silver. Spot is kind of pretty close, although it could be closer. I think that currently silver is at $17. You will be hard pressed finding any of these less than 20. If you do, good for you, great. But usually they're pretty much way above that. And then there's also folks that buy some of the older coins, but now we're talking about numismatic value. I'm talking here about your Morgan silver dollars and such. You have junk silver from other countries. It's not just United States. For example, here I have, yes, US Morgan, half is Kennedy silver, and here I have one from Spain, and this one is from France, 1875. Yeah, this is a pretty old one. But these are all 90% silver, and that's great. But keep in mind this. I'm no coin expert. You have channels dedicated to that, but I know a couple of things that you may benefit from. This is the kind of silver that will not appreciate in value at all. And I know that survivalists rarely like talking about numismatic value because they don't feel it's intrinsic to the coin. And in fact, that's actually correct. It is not intrinsic to the coin, the numismatic value. But it doesn't change the fact that a coin that has a certain a certain age and made in a certain year and in a certain condition has more value. And it would be stupid to sell a mercury dime for $3 when it's in fact worth $1,000 to a collector. Now, in terms of numismatic value, I'm not going to be boring you to death, but I will say this. Numismatic value depends on the year the coin was made, depends on where it was made, if it's San Francisco, Carson City, right? Those are important. But something else that's very important that people often forget is the condition. The condition is key. You may go online and see, oh my God, I have a mercury dollar that's worth $1,000. No, it's just worth 50. Why? Because of condition. Condition is key. A coin in mint state, 64, maybe, I mean, the same coin in used circulated condition may be worth $50. The same coin in mint state may be worth $2,000. It is that much of a difference. Condition is where it's at. So having that in mind, remember that you never ever cut your fingers off before you even consider doing that. You never clean a coin. And in fact, some of these companies, they will mark your coin as clean, and that pretty much destroys its numismatic value because you clean it. You never touch a coin. You never clean a coin. You will only take away its value by doing so. Same thing for firearms, by the way. Don't go restoring all guns. Forget about that sort of thing. So there's also this thing about coins that are in current production that also have a numismatic value eventually. And what I'm talking about here is certain coins. For example, some of the silver eagles, I think 1986 would be a good year, 1994, 96 maybe even. But there's certain years in which the production was a little bit lower. Those have a higher value, and it goes beyond its it's a spot price. So why would you sell a silver eagle for an ounce of silver if it's worth 2 times as much? Doesn't make any sense. In that line, keep in mind that some of these coins like these Australian mint ones, these two in particular, these would be the kind of coins that are new, right? But there's people, I know this for a fact, there's people that buy 100 of these, and a couple years later they sell them for twice as much because it's a little bit older, they're out of production, and people like, here you're talking also about maybe even an artistic value. People like the way these things look, and that appreciates their collector's value. So why not take advantage of that if you can? If you're going to be buying 100 ounces of silver, why not also cover the basis of a potential numismatic value? So these are all good alternatives. These in particular are pretty nice. And of course, your silver eagles are the classic. But these being lower production, a little tip to keep in mind, anything that's lower production, right? If you can get it for the same money, you are pretty much assured that if it's a low production number, it's going to be more appreciated. It's going to be appreciating more as time goes by. Then there's this thing about preppers liking silver because of this. It's cheaper to buy. You can have it like broken down in small amounts. You can have a few bags. The thing is, eventually this starts getting heavy. You have a lot of silver, and you may be saying, what a big problem. Boo, I have a lot of silver. Well, one of the things that's not talked about all that much is that when it comes to real survival, when things do go to shit, you want to have mobility. And if you have 4 pounds of silver, it may sound like a lot, but it's not really a lot of money. Gold is where it's at when that happens. This is why gold is the gold standard, because if something goes to hell, you have a little bit of gold. And this is a scene that we saw in Argentina in 2001 very, very often. Someone that had nothing, they would go and yes, you have your gold ring, and this is, I don't know, whatever it is, 4.3 grams of gold, 18 karat gold, about $200, but you're not going to be getting that. You're going to be getting maybe $100, but even then it is a lot of money. But my point is that gold is more compact, and that's a big advantage. Here I have a tenth of a gold ounce coin, right? This is right now, the ounce of gold is $1,700. The ounce of silver is $17. So I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these, so as to have the same amount of money that I have in this little coin. That is a big advantage. If you ever need mobility, if you have to escape for whatever reason, be light, not carry a ton of weight, this is a big advantage. Then you have, and I was thinking right now about my wife was actually telling me about some of these coins that she bought for me many years ago, back in the day. She would pay like 400 pesos for these. 400 pesos back then, it was like $30, maybe a little bit more. And this is some of the money that I have from Argentina not that long ago. Now this is practically worthless. This is, keep in mind, the Argentine peso is like 120 pesos per dollar. She was buying for what is now like $4 worth of Argentine pesos for one of these. Guess which one of these has held its value better? Yeah, no brainer, I'm sure. Yes, the US dollar is more stable, but this is just true of any fiat currency. This is precious metal, that is just paper. Now, the last thing I'd like to talk about is Bitcoin, which is something I feel very strongly about. Now, I'm no Bitcoin fanatic. I would make my wager that yes, it will eventually become the currency of the future. I think at least there's a good chance of that happening. So I think it's worth putting your eggs in different baskets. One of those baskets being Bitcoin. I have some in junk silver, I have some in your typical bullion coins, and some in those with numismatic value. I have a nice, where is that? Some of those 1921 nice silver coin with some numismatic value. Where they have a, this is actually pretty cool. This is an 1878 first year Carson City Morgan dollar. So yes, this has a lot more value as a collector's coin. I feel that's also a possibility. But then you have Bitcoin, which basically means you buy something and you can keep it either in a hardware wallet like this one. This is a Bitcoin wallet. It's basically like a USB with a little screen in which you punch in your password and you access your Bitcoins. I have videos dedicated specifically to Bitcoin, and you can do this with your phone. You don't have to actually buy one of these. I'll leave the link for Amazon if you want to get a hardware wallet, but you can actually get your Coinbase account from the link below. Super easy. It's maybe one of the safest ways to get your feet wet in terms of Bitcoin. In my experience over the year, Bitcoin, there's just simply no comparison. If I have my money in Bitcoin and I want to get any currency in that I want, I'll just get my phone and sell it in a matter of seconds, and I have that money in my account. Right? This, I have to find a buyer, I have to find someone reasonable, sell it to him. It is a lot more complicated, it's a lot harder, and this is a huge advantage. In terms of mobility, you can leave with just this, or just your cell phone, and you have your Bitcoins in your account. Right? Yeah, it's a little bit more complex than that. If you want to be super secure about it, which some guys are, the guy that wants to be super secure about Bitcoin will have one of these, or like a physical paper wallet of some kind. But if you have your account in Coinbase, it's not ideal. You're told to, but over the years, it's proven pretty reliable so far for most folks, and I feel it's a good way, at least as to get started. Anything happens, you leave and you have your Bitcoins. You can sell these anywhere in the world for whatever. And usually the criticism about Bitcoin is that it's very volatile. It just goes up and down all the time. You buy Bitcoin today, tomorrow it's worth 5% less, and you want to kill yourself. Well, not so much. Over the years, Bitcoin has only gone up. I mean, it peaked in 2017, I believe, then went down, but overall, it's only going up. I've never lost a cent buying Bitcoin. That's simply the truth, at least for me and for most of our people. So it's definitely something. It's definitely, at the very least, it's definitely a basket in which you want to have some of those eggs put away. So have a broad spectrum of possibilities, even a little bit of cash, not pesos, maybe dollars, euros, something a little bit more stable, but cash is also something you should have too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video, gave you a little bit more food for thought, some of the knowledge I have, basic regarding these things I'd like to share with you. See you on our next video. Have an awesome day, and remember that you have my books available also in Amazon if you're interested in economic collapse survival, surviving the economic collapse, and specifically for street anarchy and the kind of problems you're likely to face, street survival skills. Both of these available in Amazon, same as this little guy right there. Have an awesome day. Now, see you in our next video.